Note, I'd like to conclude this session by thanking all my respected panel, my all colleagues and hosts. Thank you so much for being and making this event amazing as always. Moving forward, we have our chief guest. I'd like to request Dr. Nadia Anwar once again to kindly introduce our chief guest of the day so we can formally start our session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Syed Murtaza. And ladies and gentlemen, and all my participants and dear students, colleagues, friends, a very warm welcome and a very warm welcome to Mr. Azfar Ahsan, who has very graciously joined us today and taken some time out from his busy schedule. Good morning, Mr. Azfar Ahsan, and we welcome you at APOES 3.0. Sir, your mic is off. Can you kindly please switch it on? Sir, is still off?
Now this is on. So good morning and thanks for inviting me.
Okay, sir. So ladies and gentlemen, before I initiate some valuable, discussion points with Mr. Azfar Ahsan, I would like you to know a little about him and about his personality and the work he's been doing. So let me introduce you to Mr. Azfar Ahsan, who has been a vibrant, professional, a corporate sector icon, and also someone who is looked up to in many, professional scenarios. He's a visionary and a change advocate. He's based out of Pakistan and invested over 2 decades in connecting businesses and thought leaders from around the world. He is also the founder of Corporate Pakistan Group, which represents the elite of Pakistan's national intelligentsia. He also established the Nutshell Group, of which he is the founder CEO. Under the auspices of the group, he initiated the Nutshell Forum, a conference management and training resource organization of an international repute. He has hosted over 3,000 foreign delegates in Pakistan, including global CEOs, senior executive ministers, academicians, and so on. Responding to the requirements of the corporate sector in Pakistan, Mr. Azfar set up Nutshell Communications, a strategic communications firm with the intent to assist clients in implementing result-oriented communication plans and organize strategic engagements. In December 2020, the US State Department selected and featured Mr. Azfar in the list of 80 selected alumni of the International Visitors Leadership Program out of 225,000 participants from around the world. So in 2019, the Canada-Pakistan Business Council, in recognition of his services, conferred Mr. Azfar with the Global Outreach Award, which was presented to him at their annual gala and awards night in Toronto, Canada. He was also bestowed with the Entrepreneur of the Year Award. He's also a member of the Board of Directors of Institute of Financial Markets of Pakistan, and many, many more different organizations and foundations. Over the last 20 years, Mr. Azfar has managed dozens of community projects all over Pakistan in the fields of health and education. He is affiliated with several professional organizations, including the Pakistan US Alumni Network. He has initiated his work on a book which is titled Pakistan, Charting Its Untapped Potential. This particular project was taken by him to change perceptions and narrate Pakistan's untold story. So in short, he's an image maker, stakeholder engagement, public advocate, conference manager, corporate and business collaborator, and also a manager of non-profit organizations. So this profile can go on and on. He has so many credentials to his credit. But of course, we'll have to stop here and we'll hear a few words from his own mouth when we are going to interact with him on certain issues. So, Mr. Azfar, as we discussed previously, I would like to actually start this discussion with the question about your current project in the form of book, in which you are going to be telling to the world about what is being untold about Pakistan's potential.
Thank you, Dr. Saiba, and thanks for your flattering introduction. I think I deserve it. So first of all, I'm grateful to the organizers for inviting me as the chief guest of this education conference for the third day. And I was surprised actually when I received call of my friend Azfar Rana to be a part of this conference as chief guest, because I'm not an educationist. I did very little work in the field of education. Yes, I supported many projects in the field of education, and I supported the education ministry and many other organizations in the field of education. But this is really a pleasure to be with all of you. As far as you asked about my book, so the idea is to engage around 60 global leaders, including the global CEOs of many multinational organizations operating in Pakistan, Ivy League professors, top investors, foreign policy experts, and whoever visited Pakistan and know Pakistan very well. So we are engaging their articles. This is not a marketing book, but this is just like reimagining India and reimagining Japan, published by McKinsey in 2011 and 2013 respectively. So we will engage around 15 top Pakistanis articles in this book, and also the 60 articles from global leaders from around the world. And we will actually market this book in the Western world, in the other countries globally, with the support of our different stakeholders. An idea is to portray Pakistan's untold story, create awareness about the potential of Pakistan in different industries, to invest in Pakistan, and to explore Pakistan for various options. So this is all about the book, and my commitment with myself was that I will do this book. And because this is a global project, this is not an ordinary and run-of-the-mill book. So this will be my contribution to my country, Pakistan. So this is a brief introduction of this book.
Yes, very well said, sir. Of course, when I actually looked into your concept paper that you had for your book, I was really impressed. And one of the things that really triggered my interest was about how you are bringing in the stakeholders from education. So my next question, of course, would be about if you feel that your corporate sector and other sectors are benefiting from this book in regard to in what way you are projecting the youth of Pakistan or other industries of Pakistan, then where are the educationists or the people who are behind the concepts? So just let us know that how education can pitch in into this whole vision.
Actually, education is the main issue of Pakistan. And in all our discussions, in all our even conferences, I always raise this voice that there is a need of emergency, declaring emergency on education, actually. Because few months back, I attended one of the national security dialogue in Islamabad, and several other dialogues. So as far as the national security concept is concerned, this is all about security from your enemy. And this is one thing, but the food security is the second thing. But for me, the Pakistan's biggest threat for Pakistan is there are 22 to 25 million students, kids out of school today. And this is the biggest threat because there is a population of 220 or 230 million Pakistanis, but out of 230 to million Pakistanis, the youth percentage is around 65 to 68%. And if we will be unable to provide education to this 25 kids, million kids out of school, this will be a real disaster for Pakistan. So this is up to us actually, that we are ready to bring this change in Pakistan. We are ready to provide education to these kids, or we are waiting for some disaster in the next 15 to 20 years. Because in this challenging world where poverty is main issue, where inflation is a big issue for not only for Pakistan, but for across the world. If we are not providing education to 25 million kids out of school, I must say that this is the biggest national security threat to Pakistan. So this is a need of the hour that our state, including all the provincial governments, because now this is a provincial subject education after 18th Amendment, and also the federal government and other stakeholders should sit together and keep aside the differences, the political differences, and at least on this issue of education, we should collaborate with each other, and we should work accordingly. This is emergency situation for Pakistan, and if we will address this issue today, we will be able to make our way in next 8 to 10 years. But if we will waste our time for next 5 to 6 years, this issue will be double, because our population is also increasing, and by 2050 our population size will be, I think we will be fifth largest country in the world. So this is actually the real threat, and we are doing advocacy and we are propagating this matter. But I urge through this conference to the government, the federal government, the provincial government, all the political parties, and all the concerned stakeholders to please, please, please sit together, plan accordingly, because otherwise Pakistan will be in a real mess, despite the big opportunities here. Education don't mean that we will provide them only the school education, but we will train them for their skill set. And vocational training is one big area where there is a need of complete focus. And if we will provide vocational training to these kids, we will provide education to these kids. I think this Pakistan's future is bright.
Okay, sir. Well, that's very well said, sir. But obviously, I do also see your point and apprehensions about what may lie ahead if we just ignore or overlook the gravity of the situation. That how stakeholders need to get together and find a solution to the growing discrepancy in the number of students that are graduating and the possibilities of their remaining unemployed. This leads me to another question, which is about education being regarded as an industry. There's a lot of debate about education being kept away from the entrepreneur domains because of the abstract nature of the delivery and mode and other aspects of education. So do you think that education, if we term it as an industry, has still got potential to remain or to keep its conceptual base?
Actually, there is no harm in commercialization of education if there are good educational institutions who are providing school education, and private business groups who are starting the education universities. There is only one need, that they should maintain the standards, they should provide the quality education, and there is a need of more and more business groups and entrepreneurs to come into this field and invest in the education industry, not only in the big cities, but in the small cities also, because the With this, momentum and this ecosystem, if we will build this ecosystem, we'll be able to address our issues actually.
Okay, yes, totally agreed. Sir, I was reading your concept paper and I came across this very interesting expression that was about harmonizing the economic and cultural mix. So can you actually, because normally cultures are regarded as entities which are less material in nature, but if we conflate it with economics, so what kind of mix you are expected to create out of it?
Actually, this is a responsibility of a state to provide enabling environment to our business community, to our civil society, to our different sectors, including the education sector. Because what is we are facing today as society, whether we are in business, we are in the corporate sector, or even we are in the sector, or in any other sector of the economy, the bureaucratic hurdles, the issues of NAB on public-private partnership projects, and several other challenges. So I strongly believe that there is a need to remove these barriers to create the enabling environment. And this will make the culture productive for all the stakeholders, for all the concerned actually.
Okay, sir. So, so naturally, what comes to my mind is that are you an advocate of cosmopolitanism?
Yes, I am. I am.
Okay, yes. And perhaps that is the need of the day as well,
Yes,
because of the
course.
situations. Yes, that what we are facing together. Sir, a little about APOES, since we started during the pandemic and we tried to actually make people realize the importance and significance of the transformation that is required in today's educational and other scenarios. This is the third event of the series, and we have been talking about how can this change be accelerated in order to capitalize on the material that we have gained over these last 2 years. So where do you see the future of education in Pakistan, considering that this time the results, intermediate results and matric results are atrociously unbelievable because everyone has been passed and we have 98% success rate, which is a record in the history of Pakistan. So where do you see education moving from this stage of listlessness towards do you see a better future with this kind of result?
As far as the recent results are concerned, I think this was a big joke. 1100 out of 1100 for, I think, almost 100 students. And then whatever happens. So this was really, seems like a joke. So this is not healthy for any society, for any country. And we should address this issue. This is responsibility of the provincial governments, education ministries, and also the Federal Education Ministry. And I urge Shafqat Mahmood Saab, who is actually a very proactive minister, and he raised the issue. So I will discuss with this topic with him also, since last 2 or 3 days I was busy. But I think he should take some notice because this seems like a joke on a serious note. And this is not healthy for the future of our education sector in Pakistan. As far as the pandemic is concerned, as you mentioned, pandemic was a real challenge for the schools, but in the long term, I think this was a real opportunity for the education sector, for everyone. Because before the pandemic, we were not ready to initiate the digitalization of our systems, whether we are in business, whether we are in education or anywhere else. But now we are using different mediums. For example, what you are doing right now is a classic example. You are doing an online conference. Earlier, you were bound to host the conference at a venue with a few hundred individuals. So our outreach is much bigger with these digital mediums, and there is a need to invest in the technology and to upgrade the skills of our teams of schools, colleges, and universities to upgrade themselves. But of course, in-person education is must in the long term. But there is a need to invest more and more in technology and train our staff, train our colleagues, train our teachers actually. So the global outreach is there because of these technology, and this is my view on the subject.
Yes, sir. Sir, my last question, of course, is related to what you have just said, but this is about, the condition of, journal mindset, how we perceive things as Pakistanis, and what professional ethics we use at our workplaces. So my question is that, normally we look towards other organizations or government or funding bodies or other people in order to facilitate us for different kinds of contents and gadgets and technology and whatever is used in the educational system. However, what can be done at a local level, at an individual level, that would facilitate the wider domain in which we exist or are situated, and how we can personalize our problems in order to give them a collective shape?
Actually, there are many challenges, but there are many opportunities. It's up to us how we can organize ourselves on individual level and on group level and at society as well. So as I said earlier, that pandemic in my profession, for example, pandemic was a great opportunity. Despite everything was stopped, everything was closed, but in last almost 15, 16 months, we hosted over 60 webinars and international conferences where we engage global community from over 35 countries. So this was a big opportunity. And now my forecast is that after 1 or 2 years, the size of our international conferences, international events will be much bigger because we will use the mediums we never used earlier before the pandemic. So this is one example as far as your question is concerned. So it's up to us actually that how we will plan and how we will adopt the technologies, keeping in view the ground reality. So this will be a win-win situation for us, but now there is a need to work on technology and to upgrade our skills on digital mediums. So this is one area. As far as the education is concerned, the online education is not enough for the students, because when you are visiting the school on daily basis, you are interact with the 25, 30 students in your class, with your teachers. There is a complete discipline when you are in the physical education and you are attending your school or college or university physically. There is no alternate of this physical presence in your education. So I think the world is now gradually opening. There is a need of maximum vaccination in Pakistan. And I think the schools are also doing vaccination for their schools. So pandemic will be continued for several years now. This will be part of our life like other diseases. So we should plan everything accordingly. We should be careful, but we should be brave enough to take initiatives and plan everything accordingly, because in the next few months I am expecting the life will be little normal as it is today, and things are improving. People are fed up with this pandemic now. Of course, this is a natural disaster, but there are ways to handle, there are ways to tackle all these issues. But as this will be part of our life, so we can't wait for 2 to 3 years. So I think, again, I always use the word collaboration. So collaboration is the need of the hour as far as the education ministries and schools and colleges and universities are concerned. And we should collaborate at least on this one issue on education, because today is one challenge of pandemic. But as I said in the beginning, that there are 25 million kids out of school. So this is much bigger challenge. If we are facing problem to educate the existing population who are already in their schools, but same times on similar way we should address the uneducated kids in the whole country. And this is my closing view, to collaborate for the sake of education, because without education, you can't build this country, because there is not a population of 10 million or 20 million, there's a 20 to 30 million population. And then I also mentioned in the beginning that by 2050, Pakistan will be the 4th or 5th largest country in the world. So education is the only way for the progress and prosperity of Pakistan. This is my belief and this is my message.
Indeed, sir. This is a very good message, and the need of the day as well. Collaboration and focus on education, and focus on quality education, as you pointed out earlier. So, sir, again, a very warm thank you, gratitude from our side on behalf of all the team members and APOES for being here and sharing your wonderful ideas with us, your concerns, your fears, your apprehensions, and your observations. And of course, all the good work that you are doing in order to create a better environment for all of us. So once again, thank you and a very good day. I'm not sure where you are right now and what's the time difference. Can you just kindly let us?
I'm in Karachi, and I'm sitting behind the Karachi Golf Club. This is just, I'm above the golf club, my home actually. So sunny morning, sunny afternoon in Karachi. And my salam and my greetings to all the virtual participants from Karachi Golf Club.
Thank you so much, sir. Have a very good day.
Thank you.
Allah
Thank
Hafiz.
you. Allah Hafiz.